are going to be talking about people and brands and how they rise and they fall. He calls himself, or people call him, a brand strategist, a brand consultant, and a guru of all of it. So my intention today is to kind of understand from him how has he re-strategized, revamped communications, policies, and teams of so many important brands and people of our country. And he's fearless. And I think after talking to him, I think even I've become fearless. So welcome and enjoy the conversation with me. Hello, Suhel.
Hi, Suwbha.
Thank you very much for doing this with me. And I'm going to do a very different introduction. I want to ask you, what is your favorite song that you would always like to listen to?
My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Can you please play that? Why is that your favorite?
Because that's what I believe in. I think you do things you want to do and you do them your way. You don't, there will be regrets, there will be pushback, but you don't care. See, there you are.
And how often do you listen to this?
All the time. Now the end is near, and so I state my final curtain. We can go on and on.
Yeah? Sing another line for us, one more.
I'll say it clear, I'll state my case,
Of which I'm certain,
I've
lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much
Lovely.
more than this. I did it
My
way.
You do everything your way.
Absolutely.
I must say
That's
that.
the only way it should be.
I believe so, and thank you so much. You know, every living room that I've been a part of in Delhi, Mr. Suhel Seth's name always comes up. People are talking about you, good, bad, or ugly, but they're still talking about you. And I don't know how so many people know you or why so many people know you. But my conclusion after all those conversations is that बोलता बहुत है लेकिन सही बोलता है. तो जो आप ये सही बातें बोलते हैं, where does it come from? From you're a very good orator, from your debating skills, from you're also a spring master who can speak on any subject, on anybody under the sun. Where does it all come from?
It's a simple word called reading.
Oh.
Half the idiots in Delhi don't read, or for that matter, the idiots in Bombay or in New York, they don't read. They read their balance sheets, they read, letters from banks asking them to return the loans, but they don't read books. They don't read magazines, they don't read journals. We are coming across as a society that is knowledge starved. See, education ends with a degree, but knowledge is unquenchable.
True.
For me, it's not that I need to, I don't need it for my work, but it's an unquenchable thirst. And I keep telling young people that if you want to be successful, read. And read everything. Read from Tata to Tchaikovsky to everything. From Cosmopolitan to Chaucer. The point is, we've made such miserable lives of our existence that we are more worried about what people will say, how I will look, what should I wear, what should I do. Those are transcendental, those are unintelligent, unimportant things in life.
Do you think that's a generational issue, or is it this some kind of societal pressures that we all get into, that we're always doing or wanting what's trending and not reflecting back upon ourselves, our lives, and becoming better? There's some sort of insecurity, you mean?
See, people who are born rich have a sense of entitlement, so they don't have to work. People who have risen from the ranks have had to work hard, and therefore they've had to make compromises in terms of time. But anyone who tells me, oh, I don't have the time, is talking rubbish. Bertrand Russell famously said, if you want to get something done, give it to the busiest man, because the man who does nothing never has the time. Which is why when people come to my home for dinners late, I repeat this line, because these are people who have nothing to do or very little, and yet they are late. So I've never understood why in India, with a civilizational legacy of the kind we have, with the literatures, the authors, the teachers, the monks, the sages we've contributed to the world, Why has our literature become so near us, so vacant, so shallow? And I think it's because of two reasons. One is parenting, and the other is our school education. We've had people in politics, complete scoundrels who have vitiated the curriculum from 1947 onwards.
Yeah.
Our history has been, tortured and twisted.
We don't know our history. I don't think our history is really
Well, you
taught.
don't know your history. I know my
No,
history.
you do. I'm just saying, again, a generation, we're not really taught so much of Indian history than world wars,
Yeah, but I love this thing about generation. What is generation?
I mean, we do have access to information. I'm not
You
saying
have
that.
more access to information
I agree.
today than we've had in all our
I
lives.
agree. I mean, but also we have a lot more other distractions, I would say. We just have to kind of set.
What are your distractions?
Phones. I wish I'm waiting for the day when I can give up my phone.
Well, the choice is yours and the
choice is
power
mine.
lies in your hands.
I agree the choice is mine, but everything's just so centralized. Everything's on the phone. That's how you're connecting. That's how you're working. I want that Nokia phone again where I can just play a snake game, snake and adder.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. We want to be connected.
Yeah.
We have FOMO, the fear of missing out. We want to be in touch. We want people to know that we are around. People don't care.
They forget.
No, forget whether they forget. They don't even have a brain to remember. So forget. The point is, remember one thing in life. You've come alone, you will go alone.
Yeah.
Okay. You might do good, you might do bad, it'll all be forgotten. See what what Shakespeare says in Julius Caesar. The good is oft interred with the bones, the evil lives long after. So, aap itna acha karoge, look at Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
Did amazing work. Some of these jokers in today's political class have castigated her. They can't do jack, but they are willing to comment. So when people say, oh, someone was criticizing, I really don't care. Because I sleep well at night, no matter who I sleep with. I mean, either with my dog or with my wife, but I'm just saying. And I have no issues about what people say, what people think, because frankly, they don't pay my bills.
Yeah.
They will never impinge on my knowledge. They will never be able to take away what I have.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
But doesn't that affect or the brand Suhel say?
Not at all.
When
My
people-
clients know me.
No, I agree. So, but when you have big multinational companies who are filing suits against you, or you have some people saying
They
ill of
withdrew?
you. No, they withdrew, I'm sure. But I mean, it's out there, right? The information.
But that's good.
No. But then if people are also writing bad things about you, hashtag, whatever. I mean,
care.
I know you don't care, but you worked your way up. You have worked.
So I don't.
You're an expert, and when these people say something wrong for whatever vicious reasons, doesn't that affect your brand
Not
image?
at all. In fact, my advice to people is the day you start listening, does a caravan stop because dogs chasing it are barking? No. The caravan keeps moving.
Yeah.
B, ITC slapped an 800 crore suit against me.
Yeah.
Because I said something true about the then chairman.
Yeah.
I've had no issues with ITC and they withdrew the suits.
No,
But the point is, am I going to get scared? Am I,
Not scared. It's just that I just feel that when one person, one company, they say something, it's all over, it's all viral. Social media makes things even more
But let me
exaggerated.
tell you, I advise the best people in
I
the
know,
world.
I know you do.
Do I really care? Do
Yeah.
they care?
Yeah.
No one gives a toss.
So my next question will go back to something that I have not spoken to you about. Two things actually. Your debating times, like when you started debating in school or university, we don't see the debaters today in our schools and colleges as quality of yours. You're excellent.
Not at all. In fact, the quality here is miserable.
I want to know a little bit about your debating society, your friends that you've made over the years debating. What is that jamming session like? What's the energy then?
See, it all came from the fact that you were well read and you were well spoken.
Yeah.
Now, not everyone who reads a lot can speak well.
Yeah.
I've been blessed that I speak, write, and read reasonably well. So that's an advantage.
Yeah.
The other advantage was that I got into theatre very early.
Yeah.
But in my entire life, I have never read from a piece of paper.
Even I'm not reading from my paper.
I know,
It's just
I can
there.
see.
It's just there.
Yeah, but we don't even have that. The other thing
Safety,
is,
yeah.
we understood what we wanted to achieve, and we had a lot of humor. I still have a lot of satire, a lot of sarcasm, which upsets a lot of people, but as I told you, I don't care.
Yeah.
The thing is that in our time, debating was seen as a formidable skill of not just confidence but of communication.
Yeah.
Today what's happened is exactly what you said. Everything in your life is done through the phone. How much can you type? How much can you communicate? How much can you speak?
People are debating and arguing on WhatsApp.
Because they don't have a brain. You see, let me tell you, 99.9% of Indians are dumb. Which is why the 0.1 does so well.
Yeah.
In America has 80% mediocre people and 20% bright. We have 99.1% really dumb people. And only the 0.9% who are bright. I know it'll sound atrocious, but it's a fact.
Do you think that in-person debating, that you've grown up in that environment, that is not there today because we fear sitting across somebody and thrashing our opinions?
Correct. Narayan Murthy of Infosys famously said, I don't care if you disagree with me, but don't be disagreeable. Today we have become disagreeable. So if I don't like your opinion, I'll come and kill you.
Yeah. The intolerance.
Yeah, but that's
People
also,
not,
because that's also, Suhbha, you guys, not you, but a lot of people, I mean, look at Delhi. Delhi is a cesspool. It's a snake pit. So a lot of people warn me, how will you survive? I said, Delhi will have to survive me. I don't have to survive Delhi.
I agree with
but
that.
I really don't care.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and people will say I'm arrogant. Of course I'm arrogant. It's the best defense against stupidity.
Yeah.
Plus, also understand that in Delhi, in schools, in colleges, you didn't have the concept of communication.
Yeah.
We had a concept called the Adda, where you debated. Also, remember, and this, I don't know how it's happened, it's been a mystery to my late parents, it's been a mystery to my family. My closest friends, when I was growing up, were 40 years older than I was.
That's with me as well, you know that? My friends, I think they start from the age of 35 or 40. I think they go on up to 85.
I used to hang around almost every evening with Satyajit Ray, with Mrinal Sen, discussing Bertolt Brecht, discussing, Tchaikovsky, discussing Mozart, discussing Salieri. When you're in that ecosystem, then you're not bothered about which joker is wearing what clothes or which handbag or which goddamn watch. Your entire ecosystem changes. When we were doing theatre, we were immersed in it. My wife says this of my daughter, who's now, 2.5 years old. She says she has one major reflective quality of mine, which is called focus. So, you came here, I had a 15-minute window.
Yeah.
I finished a 1,000-word article, which I was to give next week. My email box is empty. I don't have any email in my life which has been stored by me.
Those are the atomic habits, right?
No, I just don't like. So if I have to address something, I will address it and move on. If it's irrelevant, I will trash it.
Otherwise, it'll keep going on in your head, and then you're not
the point
focused.
is, you be focused.
Focus, yeah.
So if I'm swimming, I'm swimming. If I'm having this conversation with Suhbha, I'm having this conversation. The problem is we are easily distracted because we don't have a mind that is disciplined and an ecosystem that is fulfilling. We are always searching for something. If you go back into Indian history and you read Manu was a misogynist, but Manu in Manu Smriti talked about Dhan. He was the first person in the world 3,800 years ago to talk about Dhan. Today, who do we worship? Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, because of the giving pledge. But Dhan was an Indian attribute. It was part of the Indian DNA.
But why do you think our focus or people who we look up to are all from the Western world and not from our own
Because
country?
we have a colonial hangover. If a white man or a white woman says something, "Arey yaar, Angrez ne kaha tha." I've always told you, I said this earlier, America 80%.
अंग्रेजों से कब पीछा छूटेगा हमारा?
पर क्यों छूटना चाहिए? You see, you cannot decry another civilization in order to prove your civilization is better. The problem is we have become competitive globally for the wrong reasons. Oh, I know yoga, you don't know yoga. I have Ayurveda, you don't have Ayurveda. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, there are people in our political system who are making dead people fight. Nehru is dead, Sardar Patel is dead, they want them to fight. So, we have become, actually, you know, I see this as a lack of education, a lack of knowledge, and a lack of empathy. You can be the brightest human being on the planet, but if you don't have empathy, both for contrarian views and for a disciplined lifestyle, you will always fall by the wayside.
True. You mentioned Satyajit Ray and many other literary names. I want to go back to speaking about Calcutta. I have never been there, but I've heard a lot about it from you. What is it that draws you back, and many from Calcutta again and again, to go back to where you all come from?
It's a magical city. And let me tell you why. And I've written innumerable articles about Calcutta, and I ended one article saying, Calcutta is a city of pride without prejudice, paraphrasing Jane Austen.
Yeah.
In Calcutta, no one gives a toss which car you come in, what you eat, where you... So here's my typical Calcutta visit. I always said Taj Bengal, same, Suite 524, never changed. I never eat in the hotel.
Right.
My dinner is always at Qualities. It's a dive. My lunch is at Arsalan. You in your fancy shoes and all this would never even enter.
Listen.
But you know, the biryani is...
1 minute. I recently went to Dehradun on a Shatabdi Express. I ran from...
Now Shatabdi is being seen as down market.
No, it's not seen as down market. I wanted to go through the experience from platform number 1 to platform number 16. I ran. Sprinted with my coolie.
But when it stopped, did you have the puri aloo sabji in the patta?
I had the veg cutlet with my mixed fruit jam.
No, you should have had that. See, the food of India is on platforms.
Yeah.
It's not in some goddamn, fancy food court.
It is not. Go wherever you are, go local.
Same people in Calcutta.
Yeah.
2 Thursdays ago, Horma Surabji, one of the most formidable auto editors and Soli's son, serves the best Parsi food. There was Kunal Vijayekar, Cyrus Brocha, him and me. It was an evening of laughter. No one discussed Modi and Gandhi or Rahul and all that nonsense.
Politics and religion should not be discussed in circles, I feel.
And if they have to be discussed, they have to be discussed.
It should be discussed, not debated or...
Yeah. And you discuss them imperviously. You're not like sucked into it saying, oh, but what do you think? The art of conversation is missing. Now you're going to be interviewing Salman. His father, many years ago, Salim Saab, while we were walking down the bandstand, I asked him, I said, which is your most memorable line?
Yeah.
And he says, आदमी पहाड़ियों की ऊंचाइयों से गिर के अपने आप को संभाल सकता है, पर अगर अपनी आंखों में गिर गया तो वो कभी नहीं संभल सकता. Then I asked him, what do you think is India's problem? And he said, माँ गायब है.
He's told me this as well.
I said, why?
Yeah.
He says, पुराने ज़माने में अगर फोन आता था माँ के लिए तो माँ would pick up the phone. He said, आज के ज़माने में बच्चा फोन उठाता है और माँ पीछे से बोलती है, बोल दो मैं घर
नहीं हूँ. He's told us this.
तो जो झूठ है.
He's told my mother that.
So the truth, the concept of lies.
It's part of parenting.
So, which is why I say that today you're churning out miserable parents and you're churning out miserable school teachers and miserable principals. Today we are not producing men, we are producing pygmies. David Ogilvy, the advertising doyen, said, if you want to become a company of giants, hire people who are better than you.
Yeah.
Today, because of our insecurities, we hire people who are inferior to us. We hire people who are non-threatening. We hire people who we can bully.
The sense of insecurity is applicable everywhere, in every profession, every move that we're making, every choice that we're making.
Because everyone is worried, as I said, about societal stature. Society doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Tomorrow Modi will be out of power. You think anyone will remember him? Not at all. He'll go to the Himalayas, get into a fancy 5-star cave. No one cares.
Yeah. Similar to what Salim uncle told you, he said something to me as well. I asked him, uncle, कि आजकल इतनी सारी पिक्चरें फ्लॉप क्यों हो जाती हैं? कैसे होती है? आपके टाइम पर तो इतनी नहीं होती थी. कहते एक ही रीज़न है उसका. मैं कहा क्या? कहते तुम लोग ना, तुम्हारी जनरेशन, आप लोग पढ़ते नहीं, आप बस देखते हैं. So he said, we all used to read. हमारे जब कचौड़ियाँ आती थी ना जिस न्यूज़पेपर में, उसको खा के ना
Correct.
अखबार
You
को
read the
ऐसे
newspaper.
करके, and we used to read what's on that paper and probably flesh out some story from real life experiences.
See, it's. I mean, I can go on and on. We'll spend a bloody.
Yeah.
We'd make it 2-3 hours, but I'll give you a small instance.
Yeah.
I.S. Johar was alive, and there was an audition for Bhutto, the play that he had written.
Yeah.
I went to Bombay by Gitanjali Express, went to Lotus Court, his house, auditioned, got the role, came back, staged the play. Indira Gandhi banned the play. So then we wanted to stage the play in Calcutta. Jyoti Basu was the chief minister. I said, let me invite Jyoti Basu, and we invited Justice B.C. Basak, who was the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court. When we invited both these people, Jyoti Babu loved the play. So the next day he says, you come and meet me in the assembly, his office in the assembly. I was 20 years old or 21, went and met Jyoti Basu. And a discussion on the politics of the subcontinent morphed into a discussion on communism, onto a discussion on how the word socialist was introduced to our constitution by Indira Gandhi through an amendment. We then discussed the 42nd Amendment. Where would I get these opportunities if all my life I was going to look for the next basket or the next bag or the next, party?
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Yeah.
I've worked with Vajpayee, done his entire brand campaign. The hours you spent with him
Yeah.
were amazing.
Yeah. They'll
So
always
I've
be with
always
you.
said, meet people who are brighter than you.
Right. Yeah.
Learn,
Yeah.
but don't be subservient.
Yeah. Don't be
So-
afraid of learning, or don't think
No,
you,
and one
you
thing,
know
I've
it
never
all.
been subservient.
That know-it-all situation should not be there.
Remember two things, Suhbha. The day convenience and compromise become part of your DNA, you're finished.
Very well
You're
said.
finished intellectually, you're finished from your soul, and you're finished as a human being.
That's a great teaching, and that's a very tweetable moment, I must say.
It is. It is.
Don't tweet it because I'm going to tweet it.
But convenience and compromise are the most dangerous elements of human behavior.
Yeah. So my next part of the interview is that I want to know, what do you do professionally that very important people of our country take your opinions very seriously?
So, let me tell you what I don't do. I don't do PR. I don't do any lobbying or meeting people or getting people to meet. No. I only advise chairmen and CEOs across the world on branding and marketing. So, for instance, let's say Mr. Tata. So, I work with him very closely on Tata Trust, on all the stuff that happened in the, when Cyrus Mistry was sacked.
Yeah.
I work with Mukesh across businesses. I sit on a couple of Reliance boards, Pawan Munjal. So, see, I work with the top and I charge the earth. Because I don't want to work with, riffraff.
Yeah.
In the sense, A, I don't have the time, B, I don't have the inclination. Also remember that when I started, and I still am alone, and I'm up against the best of consultancies.
Of course,
whether it's a McKinsey or a Bain or a BCG.
But what's the difference between advertising and consulting? What
So,
you do now?
Advertising would be only communication. In marketing, I'd look at everything from brand creation to brand communication to brand distribution to brand relationships. So you look at an entire 360-degree curve rather than just look at communication.
Okay. So this comes from a very personal, a professional experience of mine. I started a shop and dine concept called Suhel House in Khan Market, which you knew of and you'd been there many times. I had created a concept, I had created a product. Now once it was ready, now what do I do with it? A lot of PR consultants and marketing and brand consultants and strategists came on board. Like, these are the ideas how to express and tell the world out there about my language of the brand and the product. But before they could do anything, they presented a 6-figure to me. You pay so and so and the services. And the whole concept and the whole service of consulting is a very linear process. It got many, many layers and you don't see results overnight. So how does a brand or a product survive or wait for see, the revenues are going to come after a while, but the checks have to go in first. So it's result versus strategies. How do you work with that? Or, I'm just trying to make this into a dummy's guide to consulting or strategizing for newer brands that are coming in India. What do they really do? versus paying so much money to so many consultants as you're saying?
First, you have to decide what you want to do with your brand. Based on that, you choose your consultant.
Okay.
A lot of the time, we choose marquee consultants in the sense, oh, this is a marquee brand, BGD or McKinsey. They're not interested.
Yeah.
They've got an army of people. So on the first day, the big man will come. But after that, some juniors will be handling your business.
Exactly.
Who have no clue.
I mean, everything that acha Instagram kar lo usko ya tweet kar do, but doesn't get you clients.
Yeah,
doesn't generate revenue for you every day.
But if you remember, even in Civil House, when you hired Hemant Oberoi, I told you he's a disaster.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this publicly. Hemant Oberoi is a living, sitting disaster.
I mean, the man has got his legacy. Let's just. I mean,
legacy is irrelevant. Yeah, Tipu Sultan has his legacy.
So no, I mean,
Nadir Shah has his bloody legacy.
But he wasn't a PR or marketing face for us.
He's an absolutely useless chef, and I'm saying this on record. He is as useless and dumb as a doornail. You should have never hired him, but each person is entitled to one mistake. You made two. You hired him and then you put his name on the door. So even if I'd experienced bad food, at least I wouldn't be reminded, but you made it a point to remind me that it's by Hemant Oberoi. I said, oh my God, then I'm certainly not going.
So forget about the chef and the food and everything, because I know that that's a very important part also of a restaurant. But then, I mean, I'm just talking about it takes a very long time for strategies to execute and see revenues being generated for what you've asked for.
9 महीने में पैदा होता है ना.
Time लगता है, time देने को तैयार है, but it's a very large amount, yeah.
Like,
I mean, you are saying you charge earth. I don't know what that earth really means.
So I will not charge anything less than 35 lakhs a month.
Which is a lot.
It's huge, but you know, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Let me give you my perspective on branding and marketing. I would never ever put a fee for a brand like yours.
Yeah.
I would take equity.
Okay.
Why? Because if I start taking a fee from you on day one, I will cripple your cash flow and I will cripple your balance sheet.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Which means you will not be able to expand the brand and I will be my worst enemy. What also happens is, in the space that you were in, F&B is a very, very tricky space. You had 3 major challenges, even though you haven't ever told me. Challenge number 1 was you were in the most expensive area, qua real estate.
Yeah.
Number 2, you were trying to do 2 or 3 things under one roof.
Yeah.
Third, brand definition took a long time because there were linear cuisines available in that market. I find the PR scene in India abysmal. They're the laziest people on the planet. And I'll tell you why. They believe whining and dining, hosting parties, making you spend your money, getting all these people. I've always said Delhi is the capital of freedom fighters. They fight for anything that's free.
I've hosted multiple parties of over like 100 people. I was told that they will become your clients.
They never will.
And it's a lot of money.
It's the same 100 who go from party to party to party.
It's a set guest list.
A, B. I call this the Delhi diplomatic bullshit.
DDB.
If you go to Delhi, you will see the same jokers at every High Commissioner's party. The High Commissioners are the poorest. They serve you the crappiest wine, the worst food. Then you have to tolerate the idiosyncrasies. Why go? But for people, oh, I know British High Commissioner. The British High Commissioner can't even get you a visa to his own house. Why the hell would you go? And who are you impressing? I know the British High Commissioner. Oh, French High Commissioners, French ambassadors come to my house. So what?
Throwing names
Forget throwing names. These are irrelevant names. If you told me Mulk Raj Anand, sadly he's dead, has come to my house, I'd respect you.
Yeah.
But if you say French ambassadors come, they will go anywhere they are invited. I have friends who would go for the launch of a fire hydrant. But that doesn't mean, those are exciting things.
So my next part is that, do you agree that brands or people as brands fail?
No, people as brands in fact do well. Salman, good brand, despite all the... Now you ask me, how do you manage? He's done the same thing, and all sensible people do the same thing.
Yeah.
We continue to do what we are meant to do.
So the second part of this question is that if your friends like Vijay Mallya or Anirav Modi would come to you as failed brands, how would you re-strategize or reinvent them to come back to business?
I wouldn't.
Why? I'm not trying to get you into trouble.
No, it's not about trouble. I don't care about the trouble.
No, it's just
I'll tell you why I won't do it.
If
I don't do people brands. I don't do.
Or their companies. Let's just say, I mean, they're
companies. Companies. There are lots of ways, but I would not do an individual brand anymore.
Let's just say a Kingfisher, or as an airline, or.
But Kingfisher's doing well as a brand. The beer is doing well.
The beer is doing well. They have other businesses also, which are probably not. They're not there anymore, or they failed, or they were. If they were supposed to come back, it's a competitive market. Anybody can re-enter.
So, but airline, I don't think they can come back because of what they went through.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and watch how Jet Airways does.
Yeah.
In my mind, Jet Airways won't make it. And I think it's all money laundering or a front or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But do brands like them even have a chance? I'm not saying you have to do them, but even have a chance to rebrand themselves and come back to business?
There are so many brands. Look at what happened to Perrier. Many, many years ago, there were traces of benzene found in Perrier.
Yeah.
Perrier then had to shut down and reinvent itself. I was on the Coca-Cola board when we had the attack on our pesticides.
Yeah.
Rebounded.
How?
So,
how did you consult them?
So we set up an environment council.
Yeah.
Set up an advisory board, got people to undertake plant visits, send it to laboratories of their choice. To my mind, it was a vicious campaign.
Yeah.
There was no reality in it. B, and people did not address the serious issue in India, which I'm going to talk about right now.
Which is?
80% of our water, especially in places like Bengal and Punjab and Haryana, is
UP.
laced with arsenic.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of our stupid fertilizer subsidy policy.
Even if it's a sealed bottle, you drink that water, you can't drink it.
So the point is, you can't blame Coca-Cola or Pepsi or anyone who's using groundwater.
But it's not unfair. Like, कोई और गलत करे तो हम भी गलत करेंगे types.
So the point is, there are only two ways. One is through an RO process, where you purify the water that you take from the ground. And the other is, in order to replenish it, you do what they call groundwater recharging. And these companies are doing it. But look at what you and I do in the name of religion. We float dead bodies in the Ganges.
Yeah.
There are effluents being sent into our rivers.
Yeah.
And no one objects. Because, that's under the garb of religion. Unko moksha milega. Ghenta moksha mil raha hai yaar. People are getting diseases. They're not getting moksha.
I mean, a similar experience. I was just in Varanasi 2 weeks ago.
See what's happened there?
And honestly, very cleaned up. The temple is very
That's because
put together.
it's Modi's constituency.
It was beautiful, a beautiful experience. But just before we were supposed to start, we were doing an aarti there. And they said, ye fool na pani mein baha do. I didn't do it. They said, no, this is a ceremony. I said, the same water is flowing somewhere. How can you put the flowers and the ash, whatever, the samagri of the puja? It's just not right. But there were other 8 families who were doing it, and I couldn't stop them.
Obviously, I mean, Karl Marx said it right. Opium, religion is the opium of the masses.
Yeah. My research on your consultancy, brands and companies tell me that you were also associated with, or you worked with the Adani Group a couple of years ago on their revamping their communication policies and teams. If you were to be associated with the same brand or the same group even today, it's a group which they could be doing anything, good, bad or ugly. They could be venturing into any business or any industry. They're always associated, or they're favorites of the current government and the leadership. But I don't think that's a good news for a corporate house, to be associated with the political party, because it can come and go anytime.
Yeah, but
if you were to be rebranding or re-strategize or being on the team today, how would you do it?
I would change nothing.
And
I'm glad that they are being seen as part of the government. I mean, look at it logically. If you're seen as part of the establishment, by the way, it's not true. They've made more money under the Gandhis than they've made under Modi in terms of progress.
Okay.
Having said that, why look a gift horse in the mouth? You will get all your approvals. It'll be seamless. Why should I worry? Please understand one thing. Companies are not there to make you and me happy. Companies' sole business is to make value for shareholders and make their shareholders rich.
Yeah.
If the shareholders are happy,
it's a way of working. It's business. Then this whole favoritism, nepotism debate or whatever, why is it only consulted or associated with the film industry and not with just business in general?
It should be. I've always said Mahatma Gandhi's favorite was G.D. Birla. Did you curse Mahatma Gandhi?
Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi lived in Birla houses all over India. He died in Birla house in 30 January mark. Of him, Sarojini Naidu said that it takes a lot of money to keep Gandhi poor.
Yeah.
We have forgotten history.
But does this hamper the public's perspective?
Not at all. As I said, who are my critical stakeholders if I'm a company? Customers,
Yeah.
clients, shareholders,
Yeah.
vendors, financial institutions. If they are happy, who the hell cares?
How does it matter? Because I honestly love your opinions about everybody on this planet, and most recently you've been tweeting a lot about Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I want to just kind of discuss with you the brand Rahul Gandhi.
Failed brand.
Again, a failed, agreed. I don't want to know why has he failed, what
I'll tell
happened.
you why he's failed.
No, but what must he do to rebrand himself?
Nothing.
I mean, if Prashant Kishore was not hired and you were hired by the Congress party for the next general elections, how would you rebrand or re-strategize for him to even be in opposition?
He's dead. He's a dead brand.
So then what will happen to the party?
I don't know. That Sonia Gandhi and those 23 Johnnies have to worry about. If I'm in denial about either my lack of intellect or my lack of leadership, then no one can help me. You only help those people who believe they need help.
Yeah. No, plus I don't.
If someone believes he or she doesn't need help, how can you help them?
But I also feel, I mean, being the young generation of this country, I don't see his interest in leadership. I don't see him being a part of society. I don't see the connect. I don't see he understands the pulse of our Indian people.
It's a word called entitlement. Also, Modi
But
has
even
changed
after
the
so
dynamics.
many years, what अब क्या entitlement रहा? अब तो दिख गया, reality दिख गई है सबको.
But as I've said, the Gandhis treat the Congress as an HUF. It's a Hindu undivided family. Or in their case, part Hindu, part Parsi, part whatever. Also, India has changed.
Yeah.
Today, the average Indian is not English speaking. We are now proud of our linguistic traditions.
Absolutely.
We are now proud of our legacy. We've understood the realities of our history. We have contextualized both our civilization legacy as well as our freedom movement. So in this recalibration of India and the idea of India, they don't find a place.
So you say he has no chance to ever come back into any
Not at
kind
all.
of leadership?
I mean, I think so. I mean, you never say never, but I don't think this guy will make it.
If you were to consult him to do something
I
right.
wouldn't consult him. He's too dim for me. Unless, he tonsures his head and goes through a brain transplant and then changes his face so that no one realizes who he is.
So the only reason I've looked at my paper is because I want to quote you. In 2009, for News 18, you write, the party president, referring to the BJP, a man of feeble intellect and negligible charisma. Their model of leadership is flawed. Contemporary India wants leaders who are in politics and not politicians who will become their leaders. I believe the BJP has not understood this well. At least their actions suggest the contrary. It must indeed be a traumatic time to belong to the BJP. And we are in 2022, where BJP is ruling the majority of our states, won 2 elections, 2 Lok Sabha elections, and possibly the next one. What have they done right?
You don't win an election in India, someone loses it.
Okay.
A, B, because I'm railed up against idiots, I'm of course going to win. And I'm trying to figure out who was the president at that time, Rajnath Singh.
Yeah.
Well, he was and remains a bit daft, but that's par for the course. I think, see, 2 things have happened. In 2013, when Narendra Modi was announced as the prime ministerial face at the Goa plenary of the BJP, at that point in time, and I'd actually in 2008, after having a dinner with Modi in his house in Gandhinagar, I'd actually written an article in the Financial Express where I said that one day this man will be prime minister. That was in 2008.
Okay.
He was my briefing client for Vajpayee's campaign. So, A, times change. B, the country changes. Sadly, what has happened is, and I've said this today on a television program, the polarization in our country will be to our detriment. We today have, by the latest census, about 200 million Muslims. We will, by 2028, 2030, be the world's largest Muslim population country. We will beat Indonesia. What are you going to do then? A, B, people want food on their table. They don't want you to tell them you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't. People want clothes on their body.
And you think this government is giving it to them?
I think this government is doing a terrible job in its communication. Having said that, and I've said this publicly, what Modi has done in terms of transparency, digitization, governance is remarkable. But his legacy will be a flawed legacy because of all the other distractions.
Like?
See, people will remember him more for, oh, it was an anti-Muslim sentiment or it was an anti-minority sentiment. Look, we grew up in Calcutta. I have to this day, some of my dearest friends are Muslim. I am not wedded to one religion or the other, but I've read in theological terms about all religions. You know, Dick Cheney during 9/11 said, he called it Islamic terror. If you read the Quran, you have to understand that jihad is not an invitation to kill, it's an invitation to die, it's sacrifice. These scoundrels in the US converted it into as if it was suicide bombers. We have changed the narrative of religion to suit our purposes.
Do you think
Sikhism was born out of the perverse caste system of Hinduism. They said, oh, the first child, because a warrior, you need army. Bullshit. What did Guru Nanak talk about? Ek Onkar. He said one universe. One universe means one people. One people means
together.
There is no differentiation. Today you have Dalit Sikhs. You have Amritdhari Sikhs. You have Nirankari Sikhs. Where you didn't need to create sects, you have created. Islam is an even more recent religion. In Islam, you see the various sects. Forget the Shias and the Sunnis. So I'm saying man or humanity has taken it upon itself to divide people only to suit their own purposes.
We're just intolerant of other people's ways of living.
No, we are actually only concerned about ourselves. So it's the frog in the well attitude. It's not that I don't want to quote Shakespeare again. When Mark Antony asked Brutus, why did you stab Caesar? He said the most important thing which you should remember. He says, it's not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more. Sometimes we do things for our own religion when we don't need to. So that's the problem.
So you think the Modi wave or the brand Modi has done so well is because times have changed, country has changed, the narrative has changed, and there is no opposition. Is that because of that, or they have re-strategized the party, the leadership, everything?
They have redefined India's political landscape. They have set the agenda. Remember one thing, it's true about brands as it is true about political parties. The person who sets the agenda always has the lead. We call it prime mover advantage, but that's the truth. Today, Modi has redefined politics through hard work. The guy does 18 hours a day. He's out there. He's pumping flesh and, like me, doesn't care about what people think.
So we end with, I just have these phrases and I just want you to complete them. A book I would take to my grave.
None.
Nothing? You won't take anything to your grave?
No.
I would like to be pen pals with?
Winston Churchill, but he's dead.
I mean, if he was
Winston
around.
Churchill.
All right. I have felt let down by my friends when?
Multiple times.
Do you want to share an instance?
No, multiple times.
And the last one is, I have done the following to earn 1 million followers. What is that you have done?
Being straight up. No bullshit, no hiding, no filter.
All right. I mean, this is not part of the interview, but just your brother Swapan has mentioned some character that you have created. Suhi Sexy on the mic. What is that? I want to know what is that.
You see, in Calcutta when we were growing up, our father would put us at the...
Suhi Sexy?
Suhi Sexy. Our father would put us at the dining table to have our morning milk. Where I would pretend to be Elvis Presley. And, you know, my brother being younger would have to clap whenever I told him to clap. I mean, it's silly, but we loved it. It was a great character.
What did you do?
Nothing. We just I walked in with the Elvis thing, and it was good fun. Yeah, it was all part of growing up and part of that whole theatrical universe.
Would you perform a little?
No, there's no performance. I mean, it was on a daily basis.
So we end every show by I'm going to be gifting you a plant. It's a peace lily for indoors, and it'll be lots of oxygen and clean air in your house.
Excellent.
I mean, if you had a little garden, we would be sowing and bowing a plant, but I just have something.
Thank you so much.
I don't need that. Yeah, we would need the coaster also.
Yeah, we'll need the coaster here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love this, a peace lily.
It's a peace lily.
Why don't you send it to Shehbaz Sharif with the compliments of Narendra Damodar Das Modi.
So when I interview him, I could probably present the same plant to him. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Suhel, for doing this.
Thank you so much.
I'm very fond of all your comments, and I think as you always keep yourself in great company for knowledge. And I think that's why I'm so fond of you, because I get lots to learn from you as well.
And you've done so well for yourself.
Thank you.
At such a young age.
I have many years to live. Many. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.